And we have a terrific guest upcoming. He is the voice of the Golden State Warriors, has been the voice for years. And I know, because I knew him years ago. He is Tim Roye. Tim, wonderful to have you here. How you doing?
I'm doing great, John. It's great to be on your show and great to talk to you. And yeah, I've been very, very lucky to have, one of these great jobs for years and years.
One thing, I was on Tim's show a long time ago. It's when the Yankees were winning World Series, and Tim said to me, "Hey, there you are winning a World Series every year. I'm just hoping my team plays 500." But then, Tim Roye, you drafted Steph Curry, and what a trip that must have been.
It's crazy. I had to do an interview with Don Nelson right after we made the selection, and we're doing it for the team website at the time, and he came out of the room and said, "We got the best passer in the draft." And I thought, wait a minute, he's also the best shooter in the draft. How good will this kid be? And they thought that he had real, Steve Nash-like potential, and they were right. And then a couple of years later, the team got sold, and Joe Lacob and Peter Guber took over, and their emphasis was, making the organization great and on winning. So when you had that combination along with Steph Curry, great things were in store, and it's really been the run of the franchise.
Oh, it's been fabulous. And, teams can be down. The Patriots weren't anything till the Brady-Belichick duo got there. And the Warriors were down for years. I always loved going there, but they were down for years, and now they've been up all this time, and they might have gone further in the playoffs if Curry hadn't gotten hurt. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think if he had stayed healthy, I really liked the Warriors' chances against Minnesota. I think they had matched up well with them during the regular season, and so the data is the data, as they say. When Jimmy Butler arrived, the Warriors became a really good team, and so if Steph had been healthy, I really liked their chances, and I think they're going to try to push all their chips in here for next year and to see what's going to, what they can do. I think they feel like they owe it to Steph to try to get him one more deep run, and I think they're going to do whatever they can to accomplish that.
Well, also, too, you made a great deal getting Jimmy Butler. That was at the end of the year. But teams that have to defend against both Curry and Butler, that's a problem. So I think next year might be great for Golden State. Tim, tell us about Oklahoma City. They had the best record in the NBA here in the smallest market. And their lead, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just became the MVP. And they have a 2-0 lead right now. Of course, they're going back to Minnesota. Tell us about Oklahoma City. What makes them so good?
They're really a balanced team that has, defenders. They have shooters. They have two really good big men. Yeah, and so I think what they've done is over the course of a series of years, they had, teams that weren't very good. So they had high draft picks, and they hit on them all. And they made a great trade with the Clippers to get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So their general manager, Sam Presti, is a really smart guy. And he's put together this young team. And to be honest with you, they're going to be a pain for everybody for the next few years because they still have more draft picks. They could probably parlay some draft picks and maybe a player or two to get another star on that team. They're going to be really good for a long, long time.
Shai is really great. He's almost impossible to play because he's so quick. He makes one move and he's gone. He doesn't have to dribble the ball a lot.
And he's very crafty. He draws fouls. He gets into the paint. He's got a nice mid-range shot. He's kind of a throwback that way, with everybody taking threes. He's a guy that, looks like he's right out of the 1970s and 80s.
Oh, Tim, so many people outside of the game or around the game hate the three-point shot. Now, if you're broadcasting the games and Steph Curry's on your team, I would think you'd love the three-point shot. What are your thoughts?
I think it was Steph changed the way the game was played and the way people looked at the game. Spacing is now a huge deal in the NBA. We didn't see a lot of spacing in the 90s, much more physical. I don't think they want to go back to that kind of a game.
No.
But I think you're going to see teams now not be so totally relying on the three-point shot. And the other part, John, has been really interesting, really subtle over the last 4 or 5 years. is that we're starting to get really good postmen back in the game. And maybe a couple of them could also hit a three, but they can go to the block and get something done. So I think we're going to see a much more balanced offense in the NBA coming up in the next few years.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, Tim, if the game is tomorrow, if Tibbs puts a cat on the block. I cannot tell you what a great well, you've seen him play so many years. Such a great scorer, such a great touch. Terrible defensive player, but they got Mitchell Robinson to back him up. I think that may be a change tomorrow. They have to make a change. They can't lose tomorrow or else it's basically over. Now, I imagine that Towns is going to play out of the post. No one goes to the post, and no one doubles back on the post as they did in quote-unquote our day. But I think Tibbs may do that tomorrow. What are your...
I think so. I think that to me, that would be put a little more pressure on the Oklahoma City defense, maybe get Chet into foul trouble, maybe get Hartenstein into some foul trouble, and just make them, throw a different look at them. I think when you lose a couple in a row in a playoff series, you have to be proactive because, as you say, if they lose tomorrow, then it's done.
Well, it's true. In baseball, as you well know, Tim has done a lot of baseball. When you lose the first game or second game of a playoff series, you make changes. Why? Because you don't make changes, you're going to lose. And so you have to change the lineup or change the way you... Are you surprised by Indiana?
Yes and no. My producer reminded me that, hey, they were in the Eastern Finals last year, and everybody was surprised by them then. But they've got a couple of things going on there. And one is Tyrese Halliburton. He may not be the, best player in the league, but he's a really, really good player, maybe top 15, top 20, depending on who you like. But he's also a guy that it looks like that team just loves him and rallies around him, and they like playing with him. And they've got a whole bunch of other guys who have, been dealt off by other teams, so they're playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And then you top that off by Rick Carlisle, who's probably one of the top 5 coaches in the league at designing an offense to get you a shot. And he's really put together an offense that team moves the ball and they get open shots. And again, they have another guy, Miles Turner, who's a big guy who came out of high school and he can knock down a three, but he also can scrap a little bit inside, and I think he's been a problem for them.
Now, I'm very surprised about Miles Turner, not this year, but he really changed. I don't know if he could shoot the ball that way when he came in the league. Now, he's a terrific three-point shooter. No,
and that's the one benefit of having a league where, people were starting to look at the three ball and look at the skill that, say, Steph Curry has with the dribble. And I think what's happened is we're getting the skill level in the league is really high.
Oh.
And I think because I think a guy like Miles Turner looked at his career about 6-7 years ago and said, if I don't learn to shoot the ball outside, they're probably going to look for somebody else. And so he went into the gym, got his work done, and now he's the player that he is today.
Yeah, absolutely. Good thought. Good thought. Well, it's always a pleasure talking to you. And I don't know when, but maybe we'll run into each other again. In fact,
that would be great. I would love that.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll call when you come into the Garden with Golden State next year or to Brooklyn.
I will. Let's do it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Take care, John.
Okay.